This is the secret of the successful people. This is what I've committed my life to doing. I told my mom when I was 16 years old, one day I'm gonna be successful.
In the world of sales and entrepreneurship, few names evoke as much passion, controversy, and admiration as Grant Cardone. The man has built an empire worth over $10 billion, but not without stirring up plenty of debate along the way. To some, he's a self-made mogul, a genius sales strategist, and a motivational powerhouse who has turned his life around and is now offering a roadmap for success to others. To others, Grant Cardone's empire is nothing more than a highly polished marketing machine, built on questionable tactics and the hard-earned money of aspiring entrepreneurs who are just looking for the quick fix. So what is the truth behind Grant Cardone's meteoric rise? Is his $10 billion empire the result of groundbreaking sales strategies? Or is it simply a scam wrapped in the shiny packaging of motivational speeches and slick sales pitches? This is the untold story of how Grant Cardone built his empire, the controversial methods behind his success, and the criticisms that have dogged him from the very beginning. Prepare for a deep dive into the world of real estate, sales training, and self-promotion that has made Grant Cardone one of the most successful and polarizing figures in the business world. The beginning from struggles to wealth. Grant Cardone's story didn't start with millions in the bank or a luxury penthouse overlooking a glistening city skyline. It started with hardship, failure, and the harsh reality of being a regular guy trying to find his way in the world. Born in 1958 in Lake Charles, Louisiana, Grant grew up in a modest household, facing the typical struggles of any working-class family. His father passed away when he was just 10 years old, leaving his family with financial instability and leaving Grant with a strong sense of grit and self-reliance. For many, this could have been a recipe for failure, but for Grant, it was the catalyst for a deep desire to escape the cycle of financial struggle. In the late 1980s, after struggling with addiction and bouncing around from one failed venture to the next, Cardone found himself working as a salesman at a car dealership. It was here that he was introduced to the world of sales, a world that would eventually help him build his multi-billion-dollar empire. In the beginning, Cardone wasn't the smooth-talking sales genius you see today. In fact, he was terrible at selling, but it was his obsession with learning, improving, and understanding the psychology behind sales that set him on the path to greatness. Cardone didn't take no for an answer. He dove deep into understanding every aspect of selling, reading books, attending seminars, and investing in himself. Within a few years, Cardone became one of the top car salespeople at his dealership, and that was just the beginning. The birth of Cardone University, selling the dream. It wasn't long before Grant realized that there was more money to be made in teaching others how to sell than in just selling himself. In the early 2000s, Cardone started Cardone Training Technologies, a sales training company, and launched his Cardone University online platform. His pitch was simple. He had the formula, the keys to closing sales and making big money. What happened next was nothing short of remarkable. Cardone's sales training began to take off, not just among car salespeople, but in corporate America, with entrepreneurs and business owners flocking to his seminars, courses, and online training programs. Cardone University became the gold standard for anyone looking to break into the world of high-level sales. But there was something else happening as well, a shift in the way people perceived Grant Cardone. Cardone's success wasn't just about selling a product, it was about selling an idea. He marketed himself as the guru, the one with the secrets to wealth and success. The 10x rule became his rallying cry, a mindset that suggested that if you wanted to succeed, you had to do 10 times more than everyone else. It wasn't enough to just put in the work. You had to over-deliver and go big or go home. His message of unlimited success and massive action resonated with many, and his brand started to grow exponentially. He built his entire empire on the idea that hard work and insatiable ambition were the key to making it to the top. For many, this message was empowering, offering hope in a world where success seemed out of reach. But for others, it raised questions about whether Cardone was offering genuine value or just peddling an inspirational blueprint that sold well, but didn't necessarily translate into long-term success. Real estate, the $10 billion empire. While Cardone had become a household name in the world of sales, his true wealth came from another source: real estate. In 2008, during the global financial crisis, Cardone saw an opportunity to acquire distressed properties at rock-bottom prices. While many people were panicking, Cardone went on a buying spree, amassing millions of dollars in real estate. Over time, this real estate portfolio became the backbone of Cardone's empire. By 2018, Cardone's company, Cardone Capital, had amassed over $1.7 billion in real estate assets. His strategy was simple: acquire multifamily properties, increase their value, and sell them for a profit. This model allowed him to build long-term wealth while maintaining a cash flow through rental income. But here's the catch: Cardone wasn't just a real estate mogul, he was a master of leveraging his brand to promote his real estate business. He crowdfunded investments through his platform, offering everyday investors the chance to get in on the action and become part of the Cardone Capital empire. This method allowed him to scale quickly, raising hundreds of millions of dollars for each new project. However, not everyone was impressed. Critics argue that Cardone's business model relied heavily on public investment, and some say that this approach could easily backfire if the economy took a downturn. Critics questioned whether Cardone was using his sales tactics to convince investors to take risks that could potentially harm them financially. After all, sales is about convincing people to act, and Grant's ability to persuade and influence his audience became a key component of his empire. The 10x myth, revolutionary or scam. Grant Cardone's 10x rule is his trademark philosophy, an ideology that encourages entrepreneurs to set goals 10 times bigger than their original objectives, and then work 10 times harder to achieve them. Cardone's philosophy promotes massive action as the key to success. While this message resonates with many, it has also faced its fair share of criticism. To some, Cardone's 10x rule is a motivational game changer. It has inspired countless entrepreneurs to think bigger and push harder than they ever thought possible. But to others, it's simply a marketing gimmick, a way to sell courses, books, and seminars that promote an unrealistic level of effort for ordinary people. Critics argue that Cardone's sales strategies focus too much on the idea of working harder and achieving more, while neglecting the reality that not everyone has the resources or opportunities that Cardone had when building his empire. The truth is, while the 10x rule has undeniably helped many people break through their mental barriers, it's not always practical advice for everyone. The work harder mantra works well in theory, but doesn't always hold up in real-world applications, especially for those without the right knowledge, connections, or capital. The 10x myth is that Cardone's message, although motivating, could lead people into overextending themselves, emotionally and financially, by chasing unattainable goals. Furthermore, the fact that Cardone charges people for access to his sales wisdom through pricey seminars and training programs has led many to question whether he's simply capitalizing on the get-rich-quick mentality of people desperate to find success. In many ways, his brand is built on selling dreams, with his inspiring speeches masking the fact that success in business, particularly real estate, is often more complex than just working hard and dreaming big. The controversial tactics. Is it a scam or success? The question that still remains, is Grant Cardone's $10 billion empire built on brilliance, or is it just a money-making scheme? While many believe Cardone's rise to fame and wealth is the result of his sales genius, others claim that his empire is built on exaggeration, manipulation, and aggressive marketing. His sales tactics, whether it's the way he promotes his books, courses, or real estate investments, are not for the faint of heart. He often uses scarcity tactics, time-limited offers, and fear of missing out to drive sales and investments, which some critics argue is closer to high-pressure selling than truly providing value. There's also the fact that his real estate empire is often funded by the very people he teaches how to succeed. Cardone has a history of asking for large sums of money from his followers, all the while promoting a lifestyle of luxury and wealth. Critics have argued that his ability to leverage his fame for profit while pushing for others to take risks may ultimately be a dangerous business model for those who aren't aware of the inherent risks involved. But the fact remains, Grant Cardone has built an empire. He has created a brand that resonates with millions, and whether you love him or hate him, you can't deny that he's done what many business owners only dream of. His success cannot be easily dismissed. However, whether that success is built on a solid foundation or on a series of calculated moves that prey on the aspirations of others remains a subject of fierce debate. The verdict: scam or success? So, is Grant Cardone a scam artist or a sales genius? The answer is not as simple as it might seem. On one hand, his ability to build a billion-dollar empire from scratch is undeniable. His strategies have been incredibly effective for those who have applied them correctly, and his 10x mentality has inspired thousands to take massive action. On the other hand, his sales tactics and business model have raised questions about the ethics of his methods, particularly in how he markets his courses and investments. In the end, Grant Cardone's empire is a complex blend of brilliance and controversy, success and skepticism.